It's Christmas time again, /Winterval, Ed. And there's still no need to be afraid. And there won't be snow in Africa this Christmas time, Ed.
Other than on top of Mount Kilimanjaro.
Indeed.
And let's go to other news. People in Africa talking about the Live Aid song, do they know it's Christmas? Yeah, of course we know it's Christmas. We had Christmas before you in Western Europe.
Yeah, pagan types.
Yeah, we had pagan holidays, didn't we? Well, we didn't really have holidays because we were living in earth huts.
Welcome to Procurement Says No, episode 21. 21!
Ow!
And it's our second Christmas special. So we're going to be doing some Christmassy things. We're going to be talking about the 12 days of procurement, when we make procurement great again. That's what we're going to do today.
Fantastic.
And we've got some news.
Yeah, so just before we go, let's have a Christmas joke.
Oh, come on, Ed. Let's have a Christmas joke.
Who brings presents to sharks at Christmas?
I don't know, Ed. Who does bring presents to sharks at Christmas?
Santa Jaws. Bum, bum.
Oh, Jesus.
These are all care of Alexa. I've got a few more for later, listeners.
Well done, Alexa. That was a really, really good joke. Now, before we get started, it's, of course, important for me to say we are now on FaceFriend. We are on X, formerly known as Twitter, or the other way around. And we're now on Alchemie. More of that later. Plus, all of the other podcast places, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and all those things as well.
In fact, every platform known to man and woman.
All of the good platforms. So, without further ado, we have some exciting news. First of all, in the news, Angelica at ProcureCon, we had a chat with her the other day, didn't we, Ed?
Yeah, we did.
And we've been invited to collaborate with ProcureCon. So we're meeting them again soon, and we may well be doing a wonderful collab, whether that's a podcast or appearing at one of their events soon. So we might see you there in wherever it was, Las Vegas.
Vegas, baby!
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. And if you want us to come and join your party or wedding or bar mitzvah, we are available for a small fee to present there as well.
And we will only talk about procurement, so it might ruin your bar mitzvah, your wedding, your christening.
And what's not to like about procurement? Anyway, in the news...
In fact, just before we go to in the news, just after the last podcast with Mayor, called Death of a Salesman, I got contacted through my village Facebook community, or Face Friend community, by somebody who hated procurement.
Oh,
So I said, well, if you hate procurement people that much, come on the podcast.
absolutely.
No response.
Oh, we need to get him on. In other news, SIPS looked at the SIPS website now that Ben is on board, and the SIPS update, still hasn't updated their news. So the last time they updated it was the 19th of September. So even though they've got their new CEO, Ben, they haven't actually put that on their news feed. Or at least I can't find it, which is a bit weird. So come on, SIPS. Come on, Ben. Sort your bleeding website out. It's out of date.
Well, he's too busy travelling the world, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's seriously getting the air miles in, isn't he?
Africa and the Middle East and stuff. Would say, on a serious note, I think talking to Alex Jennings, the founder of Alchemie, the Alchemie Network, he met the new CIPS CEO, Ben, for a spot of dinner, and he said he was very impressed. Had a really good conversation about membership fees, size of the membership pool, all that sort of stuff.
Ah, well.
Ben's committed to come onto our podcast earlier in the new year, pick his brains about the future, maybe with Skywalker as well.
Yes, that'd be exciting, wouldn't it? Boom. All of the collabs. In other news, I look at Supply Chain Dive, which is always quite entertaining. It's mostly US-based. There's a bit of news here from Volkswagen. Volkswagen Power Co. secures battery materials supply deal. A 5-year agreement with Australian-based Novonix, a manufacturer of synthetic graphite material, is slated, I see what they did there, to start in 2027. How exciting.
Too late.
By which time nobody will be buying electric cars. Everyone's gone off them, haven't they?
Also, given the way that the trade war or trade skirmishes are starting to line up, that's too late. I think with Donald Trump's presidency incoming, his view on tariffs and protecting the US economy, the Chinese will react. And of course, if there's tariffs put on China and Europe, it will create some form of trade war and more tariffs. And China will not only, they'll be penalised by the inbound tariff, they will do the same by return, but also they're already restricting the supply of rare earth minerals. Given they have a monopoly on car batteries, they could just limit supply, couldn't they?
Oof. And in other news, L'Oreal Group has spearheaded a supplier decarbonisation fund called the Solstice Programme, which will help SMEs access funding to advance Scope 3 commitments.
Are they going to remove all the plastic pellets that they've released into the ocean?
Do you think before doing a decarbonisation fund for suppliers, they might just get rid of all that stuff, mightn't they?
I always wonder what people were thinking with that. Micro pellets. So you get some sort of body wash that you use in the shower or whatever, and it's full of little beads of plastic. And I'm just wondering, whoever came up with that idea is a good idea. When, did they not think about the consequences? That everything will have plastic in it, including us now.
Yes, and all the little fishes in the sea as well.
Which we eat. So it's just...
I love a bit of plastic for my lunch.
I do. It's just tasty. Particularly the blue pellets. Tasty.
Was that a reference to The Matrix?
Maybe, Mr. Smith.
Any other news?
So I love this. I love stats. And as you know, Rich, I like to keep an eye on how the podcast is doing around the world and how many downloads we get. I would say we've had quite a big uplift recently in listeners around the world, which is very pleasing for us. As I say, we make no money out of it, but we enjoy the gig. In the last month, we have had downloads in Lesotho, Armenia, and get this, Papua New Guinea. So we're not just big in Oman, we're big in Papua New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea.
Also, in the last 30 days, our fourth biggest market for downloads has been the Czech Republic.
The Czech Republic, fair enough, right?
And then we've also getting quite a few downloads in Russia. I thought shouldn't sanctions be stopping that?
I think we ought to ban ourselves.
Right, let's go quiet. We're back.
And back in the room. The sanctions have been withheld for the time being, so that's good.
Some other news?
Come on, more news.
There's a chap called Daniel Barnes who is a good bloke, puts out lots of product, thought leadership, etc. on procurement. Being a cynical old procurement lag, this made me laugh. He's just put out a post basically saying 80% of procurement roles won't exist in a decade. And he says, yeah, I'm being serious. There's a big picture of him looking a bit stern.
Oh, God.
The biggest mistake, apparently, is thinking your job is safe from AI.
Yeah, right.
So then he postulates over several pages of content with examples of NVIDIA processor sales. Obviously, NVIDIA is a key component of AI systems. And basically saying, get with it, procurement folk. You need to reinvent yourself because most of your job is going to disappear in the next 10 years. And then it's like, spoiler, there's a lot happening right now, and I've been working hard on capturing this information proactively to share with you all.
Well, there you go. What he should have done was have used AI. Would have found it a lot quicker.
Would say that there's a second point in his brief that he posts out, and it's basically entitled, It's Still Wild Out There. And I do think this is something we procurement folk need to think about. He's got a couple of points here about Red Sea updates. So the Houthi are still attacking shipping going through the Red Sea and through the Suez Canal. So a lot of shipping is now going around the Horn of Africa, creating disruption to the supply chain. Egypt is saying they're struggling financially because of what's been going on. The second is the point we just talked about before, which is about China and US export bans and how that's going to crank up in essence. You really need to be thinking about your supply chain and your supply lines and whether you're single sourced, multi-sourced, etc. Have you got nearshore suppliers? Because things are going to start cranking up, I think.
Yeah, indeed.
So he makes quite a nice summary at the end. Is AI and automation becoming central procurement strategies? Yeah, our contention is how long? It's going to take a long time. I think the whole thing with automation, orchestration, we talked about with Zip and others.
It'll just get absorbed into the day-to-day business of procurement teams, won't it? And yeah, there might be a little bit of reduction in headcount, but it won't be 80%. No.
But you have to remember that most procurement functions don't have a contract management system or a SRM system. And most of their systems around purchase to pay, just raising requisitions, turning them into orders, are pretty poor because that's not where investment goes. So it's all well and good to say, AI is the big thing, it's going to happen to procurement. No, it's not. Procurement are down the queue. It's going to happen with your customer or with your design, R&D activity, etc. It's not, the money's not going to flow towards procurement in that regard, I don't think. And it'll be a lot slower than people suggest. The hype cycle continues.
Indeed. Any more news?
One to mention, I think, there's a chap I know who's the SVP and head of global procurement for Brambles globally. They're the Czech pallets in lots of countries. They're the people who lend you a pallet to move your stuff. He's just started out on LinkedIn talking about procurement. I think there's some really good content out there. So he's just come out with an article on AI, which is quite interesting. He takes a different view to Daniel Barnes in that he thinks that it's not going to happen that quickly, and AI will apply maybe predominantly to automated tasks, sort of general tasks that lend themselves to being automated, like demand forecasting, inventory optimization, predictive maintenance, etc. With a bit more experience of having led a really large procurement function, Brambles are about $5 or $6 billion turnover. He talks about routine tasks being automated by AI, and the humans, if you like, or the procurement folk will focus on contextual understanding. So that sort of looking at the data and extrapolating it, using the information that's created by AI to be more effective, whether that's running tenders, thinking about the number of suppliers you have. AI is not really particularly embedded and isn't that sophisticated, in all honesty. People talk about ChatGPT a lot. Well, yeah, they write articles with it. They write emails with it. You can do it yourself with, whatever email platform you're on, if you're on Microsoft.
And that's a good example, isn't it? Because that doesn't take away the need for you to be doing that. Yes, it makes it easier for you and it helps, but AI need to pee.
Actually, I love the thing because he's obviously a clever chap, and he put artificial intelligence, like any tool, requires human leadership to harness its potential effectively. Without clear direction and purpose, even the most advanced AI is aimless.
Oh, yeah. Until it goes sentient. I mean, come on, that's schoolboy error, that is. And one last piece of news, Ed.
Yeah, so we discovered recently and then met with the Alchemie Network, led by Alex Jennings. The Alchemie Network is a online community for procurement folk. It's well worth checking out.
Based in Waco.
And breaking news is we're possibly going to record our next podcast with the Alchemie Network.
And all of the episodes of Procurement Says No are on there as well.
That's an editorial, really, isn't it? Because he's promoting our podcast, so we've given him a bit of a freebie there.
So let's talk about the 12 days of procurement.
Oh, super.
Because it's Christmas time. The first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a major tender to launch on Christmas Eve to have back by the 3rd of January. Let's go there. That's a good idea. Some procurement teams actually do that. They still do it.
I tell you where they do it particularly well is in the public sector.
Yeah, brilliant.
I've been on the end of it with my consulting business where I've had a tender issued to me, literally, as you say, on Christmas Eve or a day before. And they said, we want it back on January the 3rd or January the 5th.
Yeah.
You know what my response is?
Not tendering.
No thanks.
Yeah.
I'm not ruining my Christmas on the basis that you've issued a tender to 15 different companies.
Yeah.
So, no.
Bleed ridiculous.
Yeah.
Partridges and pear trees. What's all that about?
It's about Jesus.
The baby cheeses. What kind of partridge? What kind of pear tree?
Do you want to know the background to the 12 Days of Christmas?
Not really. Go on then.
The first recorded written version of the 12 Days of Christmas was in 1780. Before that, the thinking was, people don't know, but they think it was some sort of memory game that people played around the Christmas period. The 12th day of Christmas, 12 drummers drumming, people think relates to the 12 points of the doctrine in the Apostles' Creed.
Of course it does. It's ridiculous to think of it of anything else.
Yeah, so listeners, do come in with your view on what Apostles' Creed is, because I'm afraid I've got no idea what that is.
Isn't it a shoot-'em-up game? Or is that Assassin's Creed?
Wasn't Apostles' Creed a character in a Rambo film?
Could have been.
Or Rocky. Isn't he Apostle Creed? In about the 5th one, isn't there? There's a boxer that he fights, and I think he's called Apostles' Creed.
Must be.
I don't know.
On the second day of Christmas, what do you reckon you're going to get?
Well, us.
2 excellent podcast presenters.
Exactly, Rich and Ed.
And a major tender to launch on Christmas Eve. There you go. That's... On the third day of Christmas, we got 3 completely different definitions of ESG, social value, and CSM.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Well, they all mean roughly the same thing, don't they? I mean, you do see Venn diagrams with them being separate, but that's basically the same thing. Have a listen to episode 5 of Procurement Says No to tell you all you need to know about ESG, social value, CSM.
Personally, I prefer 3 French hens, I think.
Indeed. And what do the 3 French hens refer to in your Apostles' Creed?
Faith, hope, and charity, the theological virtues.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, faith, hope, and charity.
Look at that.
Yeah, interesting.
On the 4th day of Christmas, what did you get? We got 4 CVs to review for new roles in the team.
Who applies for a job at Christmas?
Not many people apply for a job at Christmas, I don't think.
Not a good time to look for another job, I don't think.
No, there's not a lot in the market right now at the moment.
No. And then the best one is 5 gold rings, the first 5 books of the Old Testament. Alternatively, 5 gold rings, gifts from suppliers for Christmas. Woohoo! in the good old days, or the bad old days of procurement, shall I say, when ethics were a little bit slimmer, you'd get lots of bottles of booze and such like at Christmas given to you by suppliers in certain sectors. I still think that goes on, doesn't it?
I don't know. Not seen it for a while.
No, I haven't. On the 5th day of Christmas, my suppliers bought me 5 gold rings, and I bought a plane ticket to Brazil to get ahead of the law. Because we don't have extradition with Brazil, do we? Sorted.
On the 6th day of Christmas, I think 6 procurement gurus posting on Bloody Linked Up again. Some nonsense appearing again now. The 9 key procurement department roles. There's another list from that one. There's the 15 worst practices in procurement, which includes at number 1, prioritising cost over value. At number 2, ignoring total cost of ownership. At number 3, poor supplier relationship management. Then we've got the procurement process that never fails and it's just filling the vacuum.
I think the only thing is, Grandad, maybe for the newer procurement professional, perhaps some of those postings are useful, whereas we are arrogant and think, well, yeah, we know all about that stuff. The younger procurement person, perhaps some of that is quite useful.
Or the very, very inexperienced procurement person who's suddenly become a CPO. Because in case you didn't know, and you've suddenly been made a CPO, Tom Mills has produced the what to do in your first 90 days, because you might not know. I'm new to procurement, but I've been made CPO. What do I do now? Luckily, you can check it out on LinkedIn, and there are many, many lists for you to choose from. At number 7, we have 7 supplier performance review meetings to complete for the end of the year, with 4 of them asking if you'd like to come for lunch.
Oh, excellent. Nothing like a boozy lunch.
Indeed.
Yeah, I prefer the 7 swans of swimming.
And what do the 7 swans refer to, Eduardo?
That's the 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit.
Oh, don't even know what that means. Very good.
No. You're a heathen.
No, indeed.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Ah.
Yeah, I like the next one. 8 maids of milking. The 8 beatitudes. I don't know what. I'm a bit lost there.
At number 8, we've also got 8 stakeholder sessions where, and I've got a subset of stakeholder stuff now. This is from, shout out to Jen Brown for this. Stakeholder, on the 8th day of Christmas, my stakeholder said to me, I need this signed by the 5th of Jan.
To which you reply, I'm not back till the 6th.
Exactly. On the 12th day of Christmas, my stakeholder said to me, oh, I haven't got the budget approved. On the 18th day of Christmas, let's add a few more.
Yeah.
My stakeholder told the supplier they'd already been given the go-ahead. So could we now negotiate the price?
Kill surprise. Which the answer is, so people ask, don't they, how do you negotiate with a supplier where the stakeholder has already told them what the budget is and that they've got the business because they don't think anybody else can do the work?
Yes.
How do you negotiate that? I've done that once with a production line where the supplier had been told, like multi-million pounds. All I could say is, lying through my teeth, we haven't got the budget. This is where the stakeholder, yeah, but he's wrong. You need to drop your price 100,000 or whatever the number was at the time. And they did. And they believed me. But I've got to say, I don't really like lying.
No, you'll never be a salesman, Ed.
It doesn't sit comfortably, but that was back in the day.
No,
I've got some shiny suits, though.
At number 9, we have 9 contracts held up in legal.
The 9 ladies of legal are dancing joyously. We're really screwing you up. We're holding your contracts back over some verb.
That's one of my least loved things when it's just semantics around a word, and it's let's just keep putting the word reasonable in every sentence as well. It's like, can we just not?
Well, no, I think capitalisation. I've spoken to lawyers, and it's like whether a word is capitalised in the contract lends it, sort of import. It's just like, what?
Yeah, shut up.
Oh yeah, that's capitalised. You can't have that capitalised because that gives it more importance.
Let's do the whole contract in bold capitals. It becomes a shouty contract.
Highlighted in yellow.
Yes.
Oh, don't you just yellow marker on your contract?
Love it.
Yeah, love it. Don't use track changes. Makes it too easy.
And the thing about contracts being held up in legal, of course, for you procurement folk who may well be listening to this, just check out whether they are actually legal terms or whether the legal team is sort of looking after commercial terms, because that's not their job to look after commercial terms. That's your job.
Do you really need lawyers for a lot of contracts? If you
Ed, that's a terrible thing to say.
Being around the block a little, procurement for a lot of contracts, are they really that arduous and that difficult to understand?
Generally, no. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's the highly technical contract. If you're buying, I don't know, you're taking a lease agreement on a building for the next 10 years, yeah, you probably need to get a lawyer involved because it's a big commitment and some of the terminology is quite complicated. But if you're contracting for lots of everyday stuff, like consultancy even, or office supplies or FM services, do you really need it? And in my experience, a lot of suppliers' contracts are standardized for their industry. Like if you look at removal contracts, there's something called BAR, which in the UK only, but it's a sort of standardized contract that the association of removal companies use. And if you read it, it's pretty balanced.
Yeah. Same as NEC type stuff for construction, isn't it? Where it's just like, well, there you are, boom, there's a template, use that. Straightforward, simple.
Yeah. So I think sometimes it's sort of like, and then you've got to think about what's the likelihood of it going wrong, in all honesty. Anyway, what's number 10, Rich?
At number 10, we've got 10 requisitions to approve, Ed.
Oh, the lords are leaping. All those requisitions, the lords are leaping and dancing around.
So get those requisitions approved. We love a bit of admin in procurement.
Why is it, Rich, that so many organisations have to get almost everything approved? Yet they pay their staff, I don't know, big sums of money, I don't know, CPOs, perhaps a few £100,000 a year, maybe in the UK, a few $100,000 in the US, pay their procurement folk, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 quid. But everything has to get approved.
Yeah. Is there too much governance? Question. So budget gets approved, requisition gets approved, supplier gets approved, supplier gets checked, purchase order gets approved, invoice gets approved, all of the approvals.
There's an issue with regard to tomato puree coming into the market, some of which is coming from China, massive tomato farms out there, some big buyers of tomato puree in the supermarket sector. And the suggestion is that in China, they're using slave labor, Rohingya Muslims in China, to produce, give us the contents for the puree that's then shipped to Europe. So we dot the I, cross the T on our contract. We have to get our requisition from, a few £100 upwards approved. We have to get the purchase order also approved, even though we had the requisition approved. But we're not checking up on where our stuff's coming from because we don't want to invest in that.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yes, don't look now, but there's some slave labour in your supply chain, buried in the third or fourth or fifth tier down. And very little is done to actually go and investigate.
Yeah. And when you were in the confectionery sector, same sort of challenge, wasn't it? Lots and lots of small producers of cocoa beans and all that.
Yeah, lots of small farms. Yeah, small farms in Africa we had.
So would it in procurement be better to try and turn things on its head and not have all those approvals, trust your staff and focus on the things that really matter to your brand and your reputation as a business?
Ooh, there's a bit of thought leadership from Ed Cross.
Ooh, I say, lords are leaping.
At number 11, we've got a lot of work to do, Ed. We've got 11 tender responses to review. Far too many. For goodness sake, why are you inviting so many suppliers to bid? 11? That's ridiculous.
Saves me negotiating.
And now I've got 11 57-page documents to read and an attached spreadsheet and appendices. And they've all wanted to change the terms and conditions. So all my contracts are stuck in legal. It's a disaster. I've got to get this done by Thursday.
Excellent. Get on with it. Why are you talking about it? Do it now. So,
what are you playing at?
So in Crown Commercial Service, Peter Smith, the, what should we say, caller out of bad practice, but also a bit of a procurement thought guru. He's mentioned the Crown Commercial Service's recent tender for approved suppliers for central government in the UK had 400 pages. And it wasn't automated. It was spreadsheets. How the hell do you analyse that?
Jeez.
And they're sending that out to thousands of suppliers. Not good.
I remember doing a bid, well, it was a little while ago now, where the bid documentation was 80-odd, 90-odd pages. Just madness.
And nonsensical.
So we've got 11 tender responses to review.
Let's have a Christmas joke.
Oh, go on then. Courtesy of AI.
What's the best Christmas present in the world?
I don't know.
A broken drum. You just can't beat it.
Oh, jeez.
Bum, bum. Alexa at her best.
Can we have another one?
What do you call a kid who doesn't believe in Santa?
I don't know. What do you call a kid who doesn't believe in Santa?
Wait for it. A rebel without a clause.
Oh.
It's excruciating.
So, comedians around the world, you've got nothing to fear from AI. And at number 12, we have 12 overdue invoices, Ed, the bane of procurement people. For many reasons, these 12 invoices have not been paid. Is it admin? Is it missing information? Is it the wrong PO? Is it the incorrect amounts? Have the goods not been receipted? Is it an error by the buying company's finance department? Or is it because the invoice is in dispute, Ed? The goods were actually never received. Blah, blah, blah.
Worry not, Rich. The dawn of AI is here. There will be no more invoice queries in the future world. Everybody will be happy. Well, the 20% have still got jobs.
Yes.
The other 80% will be sitting at home wondering what to do. But behold, the advent of AI will solve our problems this Christmas time.
So there you are. That's the 12 days of procurement. 12 overdue invoices, 11 tender responses to review, 10 requisitions to approve, 9 contracts held up in legal, 8 discussions with stakeholders, 7 supplier performance review meetings, 6 linked up procurement posters, 5 gold
Rings.
from suppliers,
4 CVs to review.
3 definitions of ESG, 2 excellent podcast presenters,
That's us!
and a major tender to launch on Christmas Eve. What a brilliant idea.
Woohoo!
And they are the 12 days of procurement.
Listener, have we ruined Christmas for you? That was top. Just a little interesting fact. You know, on the 4 calling birds,
Come on, then.
that was originally 4 collie birds, and they were blackbirds. I think this is about eating. So you probably had a pie with 4 blackbirds in it, like the children's rhyme.
Right.
Nice.
And that's it for Procurement Says No, episode 21. A slightly shorter, possibly, version of the podcast. That's because it's Christmas and we're winding down and driving home for Christmas.
Ooh.
So we'll see you all again next time.
Yeah, happy Christmas, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
And by the way, other religions are available and they're all just as good as one another.
Yes, they are. They are. And they're all on the same theme, really, aren't they? I don't understand it, but I love it. Just an interesting fact, you know, historically, people didn't used to starve in the middle of winter. Famine used to hit in about May, June.
Oh, there you are.
Because they'd gathered all their harvest in or whatever they'd been doing, and they kept it all. But it was about May, June in Western Europe that people would start starving. And I imagine North America as well, because that's when your stores of food would run out and new food hadn't come in. On that happy note for Christmas, your belly may be full at Christmas, but by May, you've probably got no food.
Excellent.
Yeah.